first and foremost, I did record a video last week, but the problem was I watched back the footage and just felt like I was rambling. It felt not quite what I wanted it to be. And that's because I was spending so much of my time just trying to address all the various issues from people who had a problem with my video about home workouts being mid. And honestly, makes sense. People tend to take offense to things like that. People probably took it personally, despite the fact that this is not personal at all. This is science. Now, I think it's important that I just succinctly address it so we can all move on. But here's how I feel about it. 1, I don't think I'm wrong. Now, I'm willing to admit I'm wrong, but only under these circumstances. 1, you find me a newbie who has not worked out before. 2, you get a home gym set up for them, about $3,500. 3, you put them through a year, maybe even 2 years of home workouts with just that equipment and nothing else. And 4, they win a regional title or national title. Then I'll be willing to reconsider my notions. Until then, because this channel is focused on bodybuilding, so that is essentially what we are talking about. It's mid for bodybuilding, and if that's your goal, then it's mid or trash. Till then, not really anything else left to say. It's pretty much the long and the short of it. So let's get into today's topic, shall we? So today I wanted to do something fun, something more on brand with myself as a person, but also this channel as far as bodybuilding is concerned. And so I wanted to talk about what One Piece has taught me about bodybuilding. Now, for those of you who don't know about One Piece, let's do a quick catch up. One Piece is about a character, Monkey D. Luffy's journey to become the king of the pirates. And in this long quest to do so, he encounters a great number of people who want to stop him or just generally speaking, become the king of the pirates before him. So he has a lot of fighting to do and a lot of adversaries to tackle. So it's not an easy fight, to say the least. And in those fights, he's forced to encounter some pretty significant obstacles. Now, the thing that we're going to talk about today is acknowledging your weakness. That's right. I bet a lot of you didn't think I was going there with it, but that's what we're going to talk about today. Monkey D. Luffy was forced to acknowledge the fact that he was weak. And that is something that I think a lot of people aren't willing to really engage with. It's a thought that it forces us to be humble and consider that which we lack, which is a challenging thing to do. I mean, I'm not saying it's something that, doesn't make sense as to why people don't encounter it more. It makes perfect sense. That's a hard conversation to have with yourself and a hard realization to truly accept. But when it comes to working out, building muscle, bodybuilding, it's one of the most important things you could do. Acknowledge the fact that you have weaknesses. Acknowledge the fact that you have a lot of work to do, a lot of progress that needs to be made. And until you make that progress, you only stand to struggle and likely fail. That's not to say that it's the end of your journey. It's just that things will be hard. And losses are hard. It might also feel at certain times like you've lost something important to you. I mean, I remember the first time that I had to acknowledge the fact that my form was trash and completely rebuild my lifts from the ground up. That was not easy. I had to give up all the weights that were on that bar, a lot of them. And up to that point in time, I'd sort of defined myself by how strong I had become. All these weights that were on the bar started to become a major piece of who I was, or at least how I defined myself. So stripping those weights off felt like I was losing a part of myself, if that makes any sense to you guys. So it wasn't easy, and eventually I made my way back up, and I would then again have to acknowledge the weaknesses in my form or technique or timing or something and strip again. And it was an over and over process like that for quite some time. It's still happening. I think that what has truly become of it is a comfort with acknowledging the fact that I don't know everything and that I'm not, infallible. That's important to do. Progress can only come when you realize the places where you are lacking and then take steps to find the mentors or the information necessary to improve, and then go about working hard to improve. It's a very hard thing to do, which is why most people don't do it, why most people end up just continuing to look the exact same for ever and ever and always. They put in a lot of what looks like effort, and they look like they're trying hard and struggling, but really they're not, because they're not willing to deal with the major thing that is stopping them, which is the truth about where they are. So that's something I think you guys can take too, is the importance of knowing you're not perfect. There's a good chance you never will be, and that's okay. It means that there's always the opportunity to improve and to grow and to learn, to get better, and that's a great thing. That's awesome. I don't think that should be looked at as something that's a problem. That challenge is kind of what makes bodybuilding, if we're honest about it. Anyhow, I think that's pretty much it for today. No sense in wasting your time or stretching it out longer than it is. Let's finish the set. Rack it.
Ha ha ha!